Hello, my name is Bill Hilt, and I am the current secretary of the Ohio Council for the Social Studies. I'm also a teacher in Perrysburg at Hall Prairie Intermediate School. I teach fifth grade this year, fifth grade social studies, and I'm also the president of the World Affairs Council of Northwest Ohio. And today our session is going to talk about the different World Affairs Councils throughout the state of Ohio. We're very fortunate here in Ohio to have 5 active councils. So first of all, I want to say thank you for participating in our program today, because without you, we wouldn't be able to have any programs. We need people to do programs. And so we're always looking for people to become involved. So you can check with your local council. Everybody's going to provide some information today, so that you should be able to get a hold of us, contact us to see more details about what we have to offer. I'd like to thank the Ohio Council for the Social Studies also for allowing us to take this opportunity to share with you what we do have to offer. And I would also like to thank especially today's speakers, who have been absolutely wonderful and willing to work with the council on sharing some of these great opportunities. So we have councils in Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton, and Northwest Ohio. And we belong to the World Affairs Council of America, that is responsible for offering programs on global and international issues to over 90 councils nationwide. So we really have a really great and strong network, and we do some really amazing programs. Each council is a little bit different in the programming that they offer, but there are also some similar programs that councils will offer as well. Obviously, with the pandemic, we've had to make some adjustments and changes in the way that we deliver programming, which is one of the reasons why we're here today in this virtual world instead of at the Ohio Council for the Social Studies annual conference. And we really hope you will get as much out of this as you can. Our first presenter today, I'm going to let all the presenters kind of introduce themselves, but our first one today is Hannah from Columbus Council on World Affairs. So without further ado, if we want to go ahead and get started, we can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Bill, for having us and for organizing this. We really appreciate it. As Bill said, my name is Hannah Meyer, and I'm with the Columbus Council on World Affairs. I'm the Director of Student and Community Engagement, and I've been with the World Affairs Council for about 4 years. But the World Affairs Council in Columbus has a very long history here. We've been in the Columbus community for about 45 years, and our mission is to increase global confidence and understanding in Central Ohio. And we do that obviously through our education programming. We have 3 main programs that we work through. Our World Affairs webinars, which were previously our signature luncheon series, but have since been navigated to a virtual setting, is when we bring in expert speakers to engage with the Central Ohio community and now national community on important world affairs topics. For example, we just had one on gender and global poverty with the president and CEO of the One Campaign, Gail Smith, just last month. So those are now free webinars, so anybody is welcome to join us for those. You can find out more about them when we have them on our website. Our next program is our Global Fluency Training. This is our professional development program for professionals and educators, and this is a cultural competency training aimed at helping professionals and educators adjust to an increasingly globalized world. So, for instance, in schools, we're seeing a more diverse classroom, more global topics entering our classrooms. And so our global fluency training is designed to help teachers, administrators, educators of all kinds adapt to that and just learn more about how they can better support their students in a globalized world. And then our last program is the Global Scholars Diploma Program, which is what I'm going to spend the most of my time talking about. That is our high school global competency program. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump into that. So our Global Scholarship Diploma program was established in 2013 with just 40 students in 2 school districts and has since grown to about 1,200 students across 20 school districts. You can see the school districts that are participating there on the side. And the way that it came about is that we reached out to the educators within our Central Ohio community and asked them what they felt that they needed for their students to help them become more globally competent and more active global citizens. And what they said is they want their students to have real world experiences, to get out into the community, to meet professionals, to meet experts, and to learn how to talk to those people and with each other. So with that in mind, we developed the Global Scholarship Diploma program. So what is Global Scholars? It's a 3-year program for high school students, and each year focuses on different skills. So in year 1, we focused on increasing awareness around global cultures, global careers, and global issues. And this year, we're bringing in students from bringing experts from all different backgrounds to share their experiences with students and allowing students to interact with them and with one another. In year 2, we focus on building concrete skills that are recognized by the United Nations as global skills and global competencies that are necessary to be successful in an increasingly globalized world. That includes global citizenship, critical and innovative thinking, intrapersonal skills, etc. And we do this through, with our community partners, developing simulations and activities that students can do with each other hands-on. So at our events, students will collaborate with one another to problem solve, to explore different issues. For example, our year 2 students will do a simulation around what it's like to be a refugee and what it's like to start in one country, have to upend your life, and end up in another one with nothing but the clothes on your back. And so they, as a team, work through that simulation just to get a better understanding of what people in that situation go through. And then in year 3, we ask our students to take everything that they learn and develop individual take action projects. And I'll talk a little bit more about those later, but basically they're capstone projects where students choose a global issue that they're passionate about, and then they make some sort of difference in their local community. I just wanted to spend a few minutes focusing on the 3 themes that we address in Global Scholars. So the first one is cross-cultural experiences. And this is something that I think the students find the most fun, is they get to meet people from all different backgrounds, from all different nationalities, and they get to hear about these people's perspectives, their values, what it was like to come to the United States and start a career and a family here, and learn about how they can better talk and interact with these people, and understanding that, especially in Central Ohio, we're becoming a more globalized community. So you can see we have a ton of different countries that are represented, and these are all just volunteers who want to dedicate their time to come and talk to our students. So we're really thankful for that, and the students find it really valuable. In addition to cultures, we focus on exploring global careers, and these are usually hosted by Honda of America, which is really wonderful that they're willing to bring us up to their facilities and allow the students to tour their heritage museum and learn all about how Honda is a global company that's located right here in Central Ohio. But we have a bunch of different industries that send professionals to come and talk with our students. These conversations include, where do these professionals get their academic starts? What did they study in school? What skills and experiences have they found most valuable when working in a global career? Was it their study abroad program? Was it an internship that they did? Was it learning a certain language? So these are all conversations that our students have with our career professionals. And then lastly, we focus on global issues awareness. So this is my personal favorite part of the program, and it's the place where students kind of get the spark of their idea of what they want to do for their Take Action project. So we bring in experts from nonprofits, from universities, as you can see, from the Peace Corps and Engineers Without Borders, to come in and talk to our students about the global issues that they're working on. And I think the thing that these students get out of this experience that they love the most is that they can learn how they can start making a difference right now and right in their local communities. One thing that we teach in the Global Scholars Diploma program is that every global issue also has a local consequence. So odds are, if it's happening somewhere else, it's happening to some degree here in Central Ohio. So we encourage our students to explore that and to explore how they can make a difference. And so, as I said, students in the first 3 years are exploring, or the first 2 years are exploring these themes with us in in-person events. They're working with their peers from students all across Central Ohio to understand global issues, global careers, and global cultures. And then in the third year, we ask that they implement a take action project. So this is something that they do on an individual basis and that we as a council advise students on. So we'll meet with a student individually to help them discover something that they're passionate about and then help them make connections in the community to make some sort of difference here locally. I put a couple of examples on this slide of projects that students have done just in the past year. As you can see, they run all across the board for different social justice issues, from creating a financial literacy program for new Americans to addressing period poverties in schools. This young woman actually got her school policy changed so that free period products would be made available to all the students in their school. We had another girl working on reducing single-use plastics in her local businesses within her community. She worked with 10 local businesses to come up with alternative uses for their single-use plastics. For example, like getting rid of plastic straws and using paper ones instead. Food insecurity, we had one student come with a whole recipe book that incorporated not only affordable ingredients that you could get at your local food pantry, but also culturally sensitive recipes so that people from all different backgrounds could find recipes that were appealing to them. And the list kind of goes on and on with what our students are doing. So that's kind of Global Scholars in a nutshell. Like I said, we work with 20 different school districts across Central Ohio right now. We have expecting about 13 to 1,400 students in the program this year, which we're very excited about, especially given COVID-19. We are expecting a huge drop-off in our students, but we're very impressed that schools and students seem to really still see the value in this program, even during a global pandemic. And I think our goals for the future is to continue providing this program and expanding and making it available to as many students as possible. If any of you have additional questions about the Global Scholars Program, maybe about how you can implement this program or something similar within your schools, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to any of you. And with that, I will hand it over to the other Hannah Girth with Cincinnati and Kentucky.
Thank you, Hannah. I love the Take Action plans. Those were really inspiring. It's amazing what the kids can come up with, right? Anyway, my name is Hannah Girth, and I'm the Global Education Manager at the World Affairs Council. Our mission is to increase international understanding and global awareness in our area, and we do this in 3 main focuses. First, we host over 250 international delegates in our region through the U.S. Department of State to meet with people just like you to engage in people-to-people diplomacy efforts. We also host and bring foreign affairs events and experts to our community on issues that matter through our speaker series events. And finally, we do this by bringing the world to our classrooms, now virtually, serving almost 7,000 students each year. Here on my first slide, I have a photo of our global guide, Lee, at Sims Township Branch Library, teaching children how to pick up different items with chopsticks. How cute is that? The truth is, I couldn't do this work without our volunteers, our global guides. These are our international students and professionals in our local area who volunteer their time, teaching students about their home country. They are the spark in our programming, and through the recent transition of remote learning, they have been so graciously involved, seeing how they can still participate from home. At our local chapter in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, we offer amazing programs, and if Hannah, you can click to the next slide, I'll have a series of photos, just click one more time. And I wanted to highlight some of the programs in our elementary, high school, and college level. To begin, I want to focus on elementary programs. The first picture here on our left is our Build the World, and it's an interactive map game that allows students to work together and compete. Students form 2 lines and then they race. They place pieces of the world onto the map. The picture on the right is our Global Read Aloud program, which is a global collaborative project that teaches young students another language through movement and reading. Global guides visit our local libraries and team up with librarians as they read books in different languages. And Hannah, go and click 2 more times. 2 more photos should pop up. Thank you. And over here on the left is one of our global guides, Jin Kong. He's an international professional that lives here in the Cincinnati area, and he's one of our prime volunteers, always volunteering his time to go into our classrooms for our Global Classrooms program, which connects schools to local university students and professionals as they present their home country, teaching the students about geography, government, national symbols, language, festivals, holidays, and more. And over on the right is our teacher workshops, which provides professional development to equip teachers as they begin to apply global perspectives to their classroom. And go and click 1 more time. I have a lot of pictures. Okay, so here's our Art Meets World program. This is a program that started in 2018 that expanded out of our Global Classrooms program so we could incorporate art education projects with the goal to further develop intercultural understanding and awareness of being a good global citizen. Students have the opportunity to meet with people from around the world, from China, Mexico, India, and Japan, and together they can create an art project respective to each country. So with an international focus to collaboration with Northern Kentucky schools, over 800 elementary students created and celebrated culture diversity and inclusion in our community in the 2018 to 2019 school year. And since the launch, this program has grown and adapted, continuing to reach thousands of students each year. As schools transitioned to remote learning, we adapted this program to match the needs of local students with free, easy-to-use templates and instructions that can be found on our website, globalcincinnati.org. And if you can click 1 more time for me, Hannah. I am going to highlight 4 of the programs that we turned virtual. This is our Art Meets World at Home program. And I'm going to dive deeper into China. So I'll have a lot of fun little links popping up, and bear with me. So go ahead and click 1 more time for me. And this is the first page of our PDF. So if you go to our website and go to elementary programs, this is the first thing that pops up, Art Meets World at Home. And on it, you can select different PDFs. And today I'm going to dive deeper into China just to show you what this Art Meets World at Home program is. The first page of the document provides a short lesson on the history of Chinese lanterns. So just give the kids a little inspiration. You know, what are Chinese lanterns? And, you know, the description is the paper lantern is a symbol of celebration and hope in China, and the Lantern Festival marks the beginning of each Chinese Lunar New Year. Lanterns hanging during Chinese New Year are said to be lucky charms that frighten away the Nian monster, which according to legend is a fierce beast that lives under the sea or in the mountains. And go ahead and click to the next slide. The next slide highlights the next 2 pages on the PDF, which walk through the materials you need. So if you click 1 more time for me, Hannah, it'll pop a bunch of materials. Super weird keeping saying my name over and over. Anyway, we walk through some different materials that you need to make your Chinese lanterns. And all of these materials can be substituted. For example, I don't have a stapler or glue in my house, but I do have tape because I wrap gifts, right? So you can substitute some of the materials needed. And I'll go ahead and click 1 more time. And the next page walks through, so that's the materials needed and the directions to make your Chinese lantern. And the following page walks through some really fun resources, thank you, and businesses and restaurants you can visit if you really, you know, are fascinated with the Chinese culture and you want to try some traditional food, or if you want to learn more. So if the students are really inspired, they can click on these different fun videos that walk into the Chinese history a little more. And go ahead and click the next slide. And I promise we're almost done with the PDF. So this is the last 2 pages, and it walks through how to make your Chinese lantern. So the first 2 things you'll need to do is make your handle and your wish. So if you can click for me again, it's going to do some zoom-ins on the description. So first, you'll decorate your handle however you want. Go ahead and click for me 1 more time. And second, you'll make your wish. So I wish you could go to China. And then as you make these marks and these decorations, you'll cut along the salt line. Go ahead and go to the next one. And this is the body of the lantern. So you can decorate this however you want. So it's like walks through what you need to do. And you'll, you know, fold along the dotted and cut along the solid. Go ahead and click for me again. And that's the template. So the second page is a blank template, which encourages students, like, when you're ready, go to your page, and you don't need a printer, because I don't have a printer at home either. You can take a sheet of paper and put it up to the screen and trace your lines, or you can take a ruler and make your lines yourself. So that's that. That's that section of Art Meets World at Home, just to highlight. Click again for me. And they're all living on our elementary program page. You can make origami at home. You can make your own sugar skulls, celebrating the Day of the Dead in Mexico. And you can also celebrate and the Festival of Lights for India and make your own rangoli. So there's some fun programs that we offer at home. And my last program I want to highlight is the International Education Summit. Thank you, Hannah. And this is celebrated each year during International Education Week. And it's called IES, International Education Summit 2020. It is our largest high school program designed to raise student awareness about global topics and careers in our area. Usually the event is held at Northern Kentucky University's campus on the Friday of International Education Week. Students have the opportunity to listen to a panel discussion on a selected hot global topic, but also get to hear from local professionals in speed networking, where they learn about global careers in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. Although this year we're mixing it up a little bit and making our program virtual. So this is free and open to all students. We're expanding and partnering with lots of councils, including some that are here with us today. And we're happy to announce the theme of peace and justice. This 5-day virtual event will launch on Monday, November 16th with a program on environmental justice. And through the rest of the week, speakers will cover topics under dialogues of peace and justice on the power of protest, race and ethnicity, religion, international equity, mental health, and more. And on the final day, Friday, November 20th, students will have the opportunity to speed network with global professionals via Zoom chat rooms and around the world, and they will have the opportunity to participate in a global storytelling workshop hosted by a local nonprofit, Bespoke and Live on campus. And those are the two programs I wanted to highlight today, IES and Around the World. If you are interested in learning more about our programs, you can email me directly at hgirth@cincyworldaffairs.org, or you can find more information at globalcincinnati.org. And this does wrap up my program highlight today, and I thank you for your time, and I'm so happy to be here and pass the controls on to Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Hannah. My name is Elizabeth Court, and I am the manager of global education at the Cleveland Council on World Affairs. Today, I'm going to provide a brief overview of the council and discuss our programs specifically for educators. So if you want to go to the next slide, Hannah. Just to say a few words about the council, we have been in Cleveland since 1923, and for more than 90 years, CCWA has served as the premier organization in Northeast Ohio to provide understanding about and engagement in international relations and global issues. Our mission is to inspire engagement in international affairs and world cultures through education, citizen diplomacy, and public dialogue. So we offer a number of programs to get people excited about learning about other cultures, traveling to other countries, and working with people from other countries. So if you would like to go to the next slide. When we think about our programs at CCWA, we think about them in these 4 discrete areas or buckets, beginning with our speaker programs. Our speaker programs are really at the core of our mission, and we offer a mix of membership-based and public programs throughout the year. Now moving to our student programs, CCWA has operated student programs since 1945, when we held our first Model United Nations conference for high school students, and we've done so annually since then, making it the oldest Model UN program in the country. Last year, we worked with over 1,900 students in Northeast Ohio through 6 Model UN conferences, 4 at the high school level and 2 at the middle school level. Looking then at our international visitor programs, we program visits to Cleveland for international visitors and have done so since 1948. We program stays ranging from 3 days to 5 weeks for about 400 visitors each year. And we primarily welcome international visitors on inbound exchanges, but also occasionally facilitate outbound exchanges for Clevelanders. Today, I'm going to be focusing on our Center for Global Understanding, that 4th pillar of programming. And the center hosts 2 initiatives, the Bridges to the World Professional Development Program and the Global Competency Training Program, both of which serve to cultivate a region of globally minded citizens and to promote greater global understanding. And I do want to note that all of our programs in each of these 4 buckets have been pivoted to virtual programming due to the COVID pandemic. Hannah, if you could go to the next slide. So again, we're focusing on that fourth pillar. So first, we're going to look at Bridges to the World, which is a series of professional development workshops that examine key elements of global education and explore a number of resources for educators to foster global competence in their classroom. The series consists of workshops that take place throughout the course of a semester for a learning cohort of middle school and high school educators. The workshops address global challenges and US-Russia relations to climate change and immigration and global migration. In these workshops, we explore curriculum-based resources as well as provide a collaborative space for educators to discuss the field of global education and reflect upon their methods of implementation in the classroom. So in sum, the program builds teachers' knowledge of global education and equips teachers with the skills and resources to analyze and respond to students' thinking on global issues. Hannah, if you could go to the next slide. I'm just going to walk you through a few of the resources shared in Bridges to the World. You could just click once. So to become engaged with current events and global issues, students obviously need resources to help them better understand the issues. And this includes the historical context that has led to our present day challenges, as well as current policy discussions on a given issue and resources to determine one's own informed opinion. Now, when teaching about current events, it can be difficult to contextualize history because many students lack the knowledge of these historical events that have led to our present day challenges. And addressing this lack of contextual awareness is critical. So in our workshop series, we utilize the Choices program, which addresses international and public policy issues through discourse and decision making, as well as serves as a vehicle to discuss kind of these heavy, controversial issues without injecting one's own opinion. We also share long-distance video conferencing resources that connect classrooms in the US to classrooms worldwide. So Hannah, if you could click twice. One of the other resources we share with teachers is Generation Global, which is a video conference program that provides opportunities for direct interaction with students in other countries. We also share Pen Pal Schools, which is a great resource to connect middle and high school students globally through asynchronous communication. And finally, Hannah, if you could click one more time, we provide project-based learning resources for students to connect with peers on a global scale. iEarn is a resource that we use that is a network which empowers students and teachers across the globe to engage in collaborative projects with one another. So in this program of Bridges to the World, CCWA is really serving as a curator of these different resources to support global education in the classroom. We provide teachers access to these resources, as well as tools to effectively implement them in the classroom. It is then up to the teachers to determine which resources would work best within their classroom context and how they might integrate these into their respective curriculums and schools. Now, I will note that all of the resources that we share are aligned to Common Core state standards, Ohio state standards, and the C3 framework. So I hope that this gives you a good sense of the Bridges to the World program and some of the resources offered. This program does take place once a year, and we are currently enrolling the spring 2021 cohort if this is something that might be of interest to you. If you could go to the next slide, Hannah. Shifting gears, I would just like to say a few words on the second program within the Center for Global Understanding, the Global Competency Training Program. So if we could go to the next slide. This program trains business professionals, educators, and students to understand and practice the skills necessary to communicate and to work cross-culturally. We execute different formats of this training for different audiences in order to best meet the needs for this program. So in the school setting, we have worked with local schools to better welcome international students who might choose to study in Northeast Ohio, as well as to prepare students for outbound study abroad programs, as well as for future careers. And finally, to train faculty and staff in how to better effectively communicate and work with diverse student populations. The content for this program is designed to be modular so that we are able to tailor our programming to these different audiences. And we do know that there are a lot of other training programs out there that focus on explaining other cultures through analyzing cultural norms and giving you examples of this. And we do that as well in our training, but we also focus on sharing some tools and strategies to better engage with other cultures. And if we could go to the next slide, this is my final slide. Our global competency training is also unique in that we weave self-reflection throughout the workshop series, because the whole point of this training is that if you understand your own cultural starting point better, you're going to be more confident in how you approach others. So with this focus on self-awareness, we use the Global Competence Aptitude Assessment, which profiles one's global competence across 8 different dimensions, which you can see here. And then it provides you a profile report that shares your relative strengths as well as development areas that could benefit from further attention. The assessment that we use has been used in a number of local schools that we're working with. One high school in particular is actually using this tool to assess all of their freshmen and seniors in order to measure their growth in global competence over the course of 4 years. So you might consider using this assessment for your students or for staff in an academic setting. I hope that this gives you a sense of our global competency training program. And with that, I will pass it over to the Dayton Council.
All right, hi everybody. I didn't know how much I'd be learning from this, so thank you, Bill, for including us, not just to contribute, but to consume information from other perspectives. I'm learning a lot. I appreciate the opportunity to share what Dayton Council on World Affairs is doing. I am Vaughn Shannon. I'm president of Dayton Council on World Affairs. We have a youth programs coordinator, Bridget Fetterspiel, who's a teacher at the Stivers School for the Arts, and is more directly involved in some of our programming. So I want to give a shout out to her, and I'll do my best to represent what we do. The Dayton Council on World Affairs itself is 73 years old now. In 1947, we were founded with the mission of bringing educational programming and events to Dayton and the Miami Valley to teach them about the world and how the world impacts us and how we in turn impact the world. So we do a lot of programming. We're part of the Great Decisions annual lectures in the Chinatown Hall. So we like to partner with groups like that. We have a monthly speaker series, Global Views and Local Brews, which is more casual happy hour kind of vibe. And we bring somebody in who's local who can talk about things they've done on careers in foreign affairs or otherwise. But today's more about what do we do with youth. So if we could advance the slide. The feather in the cap of Dayton Council on World Affairs is something called the Junior Council on World Affairs. JCOWA is basically a child of JCOWA. It's autonomously run through various high schools in the 6 counties surrounding Dayton, Montgomery County, and Greene County in particular. There are currently 14 schools who participate, and they're basically high school clubs who do their own events in school, learning about world affairs, and a teacher takes on the role of advisor for that. Related to Dayton Council, we have kind of a quarterly set of events that we get involved with these junior council events. In the past, by the way, we've been involved with things like Model UN, and we helped found the International Fair in Dayton, and that would involve people. In terms of quarterly things now, if I could get a change, thank you. In terms of things we do as a rule nowadays, in the fall, we tend to alternate years between a youth forum and an international career day. So I heard something about kind of a career day thing. So kind of off years, They will meet with people from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and NASIC and the Dayton Peace Museum and the sister cities and other NGOs and nonprofits to kind of see what people do with world educations and foreign languages. And then in other years, there are youth forums that are more about presentations, either independent of or leading up to something called the Academic Quiz Bowl, which gets us to our winter programs. In February, we have the Thomas V. Pearson Academic Quiz Bowl of basically the 14 JCOWA schools compete in a trivia quiz bowl. And that's a lot of fun. And it is tied to our parent, all of us have a parent organization, the World Affairs Council of America, or WACA. The winner of the local quiz bowl goes to the DC WACA Academic Quiz Bowl in the spring, which is our next slide. And so JCOWA helps sponsor and defray costs for that trip for the winning team to go to Washington, D.C. to compete in nationals of the Academic World Quest. So that's always great. Obviously, this past spring was it's been a tragedy and disappointment on many levels. So among the casualties of COVID have been the spring trip out. We had just done the Quiz Bowl in February and did not get to participate in that trip. And this fall, everything's kind of being set back temporarily, but we hope to get things going again in 2021. We also have an end of the year kind of for fun. A Geo Bowl is something we do it's a quiz bowl without having to worry about who wins as much. And so more kind of geography related questions to kind of end of year on a fun note. If we, beyond that kind of annual schedule, we at JCOWA try to reach out to youth more generally. There are youth exchange programs. We partner with Dayton Rotary. They have an Outbound program where people can apply and spend a semester or a year to places. In 2018, then we had students from Stiver School of the Arts go to Brazil. A student from Chaminade, Julian, spent a semester in Europe. And so one thing we do at JCOWA, if we don't have the resources ourselves, we're a little slimmer than we used to be, we make a lot out of partnering and building relationships with other groups in the area. So JCOWA just partnered with Dayton Rotary today to bring General John Allen to give a talk on Zoom, and those are the kind of creative ways you can make something where there may be less. Another thing we're proud of, if you could turn the slide one more time, is the Pfeife Smith Scholarship. This is an endowed, at the Dayton Foundation, it's an endowed scholarship established to award a student from the Dayton schools. It doesn't have to be a JCOWA student, but they know, they get the inside scoop about this. But if you're a Dayton area high school student graduating and planning to go to college at one of the 3 Dayton area schools, which is UD, Wright State University, or Sinclair Community College, there is a process to award a $4,000 scholarship for a student who shows, obviously checks some boxes of merit, but also is interested in either international affairs, political science, history, geography, foreign languages, kind of a broad swath of things that we could call globally interested. And so we're proud of that as well. Again, the year has been quite difficult for all of us, including students, and so whether clubs are even happening and in what form, we're still trying to figure out how to make something interesting happen in the spring of 2021. If we have our annual meeting, our annual dinner, we tend to reserve a table for both advisors and students to show our appreciation and have the Pfeife Smith winner stand up and be recognized. It's also our chance to fundraise for the JCOWA programs. So we do raffles and silent auctions at the annual dinner and at a separate trivia night. So we try to get creative in raising money to help support youth programs. Our last slide, if you could, is simply information about us. If anybody at the OCSS is in the Dayton area, Miami Valley broadly, not too close to Cincinnati in northern Kentucky. Don't want to make that drive. We are always looking for people who want to be involved in general, but also may be interested in creating a JCOWA club at your school. So if you're interested in JCOWA or JCOWA, feel free to reach out to myself or check out on our websites and social media.
All right, to echo what Vaughn said, I'm really impressed with all of the offerings from all of the councils around the state of Ohio. I'm finding myself that I'm learning so much about some of what is out there for kids and for communities to better understand the world and to better live in the world. I'm with the World Affairs Council of Northwest Ohio. We serve Greater Toledo, and we are the youngest council. We will celebrate in 2021, we will celebrate our 10th anniversary. Serve the Greater Toledo area. This picture here is our web page, start page, and if you want to find out more information, you can go there, or also we have a Facebook page, and I hate to say it, but our Facebook page is probably more active than our website. But either place, you will be able to find an easy way to contact us. We are an all-volunteer council, and we're always looking for people to volunteer. So if you have a liking for world affairs or global ties, anything like that, go ahead and give us a call. We primarily are an educational organization. A lot of the councils have really strong business ties, and we do have a few ties with some local business, but most of our affiliations are with education. If we go to the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about our programs. Our educational program, like the Columbus Council, we have we call it the Global Studies Diploma. And we started this, I think we are in our 7th year of offering the Global Studies Diploma. It's really fairly similar to Columbus's program, but it's also a little bit different because the resources that we have are a little bit different than what they have in the Columbus area. But we have students who graduate every year by earning a certificate in basically global competency. If we can go on to the next slide. We have 4 areas of concentration, and we kind of mark these with badges. To get the Global Studies Diploma, you have to earn all 4 of the badges, starting with celebrating culture, which is kind of more or less an introductory to just, how to enjoy cultures. That's kind of your basic, your foods, your flags, your festivals, things like that. Then deeper investigation, you would take something that you learned possibly from the celebrating the cultures and take it a little deeper. The third one is about communicating effectively with diverse people. And then finally, we also have an action plan as well. And we've had some really great capstone projects. We had a few years ago, we had a student who led their Model UN group at the high school into creating a Model UN for the junior high. So they're always doing really active and important programs in the community. Next. We also have been doing international nights now since, I think 2009 was our first one. We called it a global summit. And since then, we've been able to use what we've learned to make each one even better and a little bit different. But basically, we use teachers and exchange students and teachers from different programs that are visiting from other countries. A lot of times we'll have families from the community who come in and share their cultures. And it ends up being a great event. We've had some of these events where we've had up to 1,000 participants from the different schools and community. And most of them are students, really. But they're just, everything is really, we get great feedback from them. I mean, it really gets kids excited and the community excited about learning about other people and other places. Next, you can see we have, this is a program that we've done with a few of our international nights, the Earth Balloon. It's available from Cuyahoga Community College. At least it was last year. We were very fortunate that we had our diversity night just before everything kind of shut down. And we had a really cool Earth balloon display where the kids can actually go inside of there and look around, and we have a teacher that gives a program. So that's really fun. Next, we can see some teachers they were involved in a Fulbright program. We partnered with Bowling Green State University for about 6 years. They did the Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program, which was through the State Department. It's now been rolled into part of the Fulbright, but we've had some really great success in working with our partners through that program, and through not just Bowling Green, but we've also worked with other universities in Northwest Ohio. We've done programs at Lourdes University, the University of Toledo, Owens Community College. And, you know, we're always looking for more people to partner with us. As I said, we have an all-volunteer council, and the only way that we can do programming is if people come forward and are willing to put in a little bit of work. Next, we do a speaker series. We don't have a regular speaker series like monthly or anything like that. Just every once in a while, we're fortunate enough to get somebody to come in and speak. A couple of years ago, from the World Affairs Council of America, we partnered with them to bring in a speaker on about Islam. And just last year, we had one of our local judges. He worked as an international elections observer a few times, and he helped work in Georgia, the country of Georgia, to help them, I think, basically implement a judicial system, and he gave a great talk on that. Next, we did a STEM project a few years ago. I teach at a STEM school, and we had gotten a grant from our local schools foundation to do something called, we built a solar spell. Actually, we built 4 of them, and they're solar-powered electronic learning libraries. And these are sent to places in the world that don't have internet access, but it's kind of like a preloaded library with everything from educational things for students, also for teachers and the community. It's like a medical encyclopedia is on there. And it was a really great program. And these like 5th and 6th graders actually built these things. And we've sent them over. The picture on the left, when I was in Senegal, I took one to a teacher who was in the T program at BGSU, and they've been able to implement it. We had one go to Mozambique. We had one go to Kenya. So really kind of an exciting project, and the kids were really into it. Next, we have, we were fortunate enough to partner with some European countries through a European Union grant, and we designed a training for youth workers, so teachers, social workers, really anybody that works with young people, and it was called Non-Formal Education and E-Learning for Inclusion. But basically, that's a long way of saying we developed best practices for working with refugees and immigrants and minorities, and it's really a neat program. And that also offered some of our people, our volunteers and people who work with the program, an opportunity to do some traveling and to collaborate with others from Italy and Greece and Hungary and Spain, Romania. So it was really pretty exciting time. That was about a 2.5-year project. Moving on, we had an international travel exchange in Turkey, a cultural study tour in Turkey. I know the Dayton Council does this as well because in this picture, I think we have 5 teachers from Northwest Ohio and 5 teachers from the Dayton Council. And I know that they had done it other times too. So that was a really a great opportunity for everyone involved. Next. This was a program, this was, as I mentioned before, when I got to go to Senegal, I was kind of, just kind of doing some observing of some of the programs that were being implemented by our alumni. And I mean, I can't even begin to describe what a great experience it is. I think every person needs to have an experience where they go somewhere very far away and where life is very different, and just to get a feel for what that's like, because it really is life-changing. Next, we have, these are just some more pictures from our exchange programs. The one on the bottom left, we worked with some groups from Moldova. I was fortunate enough also to go to Moldova in 2019 to work with them on rural development. That was through what was the program called? Open World program from the U.S. Congress. So we've done quite a few open world programs, and we also do a lot of collaborating. Next, we organized a trip to Egypt. So we'd kind of like to do some more of this, but being a small council, it's a little more difficult. But there are opportunities that other councils offer for all members of the network, the national network. So I think it's Philadelphia, but it might be Pittsburgh. One of the Pennsylvania councils offers a really great travel program that is worth checking out. Is that it? Is there more slides? I can't remember. That might be the last one. That's it. Okay. So, that kind of wraps up what we have here in Ohio. And of course, being that we each had 10 minutes to talk about our organizations that we could probably sit down and talk all day about, we really would hope that you contact your local organization. We'll make sure that OCSS has the contact information so that you can get a hold of the councils. But I'm sure every one of the councils is available if you Google it, or if you go to the World Affairs Council of America. We have connections on their page too. So we really want to thank you all, and we have discussed the possibility, if we get enough feedback from the teachers from Ohio who would like to do something additionally with this, something that's a little more interactive and talk to the people from your local council, we're definitely willing to do something like that. So please reach out, contact the councils, and see how you guys can bring world affairs to your community and your students. Thank you.